So let's talk days for a second. This is a fun one for you to contemplate. Archaeologists have discovered that nearly all societies used a 360-day calendar until around the 8th century BC, which would happen to be the time of King Hezekiah. Jewish tradition teaches that the calendar changed when he was king. The Earth's orbit shifted from a 360-day cycle to a 365.25-day cycle. It might change back to 360 days in the future again. If you read your Bible and you believe it, it will. If you look into it, calendars from all over the world with 360 days per year up until Hezekiah. The Mayan calendar went from 12 months of 30 days to 18 months of 20 days, then to a 365-day calendar in the 4th century BC, and it took them 400 years to realize their calendar was off and needed adjustment. The Rig Veda, an ancient Indian writing dated 1700 to 1100 BC, records the year as lasting 360 days at the time it was written, which is 300 to 1,000 years before Hezekiah. The 360-day year in Mesopotamia by Lisa Brack-Bernson, Regensburg University, documents from numerous ancient Semitic writings how many societies in the Middle East region had a 360-day year in very ancient times. So it's not just us saying so. There's historical proof that back then, pre-Hezekiah, there was a 360-day system in place and it worked. That was the time that they had to work with. So that ancient 360-day year recorded in Genesis as well as in Gentile history. Now after the sun goes down, whatever constellation is in that spot at the time was used to mark which month it is. Of course, there's much blank space between some constellations, and that's where the extra fine point is needed, such that the first sliver of the new moon tells us the exact day within that range of white space that the month changes from one month to the other. But the name and marking of which month it was assessed by which constellation was there. Some Gentile societies did not use the new moon. Instead, they created man-made circular constructions. Stonehenge is an example, with 360 markings around the circle, one for each day of the year. And they could use the markings to mark exactly where the sun went down, exactly what portion of each constellation passed over each marking. Very intricate. Thus, they could easily count 30 days and see exactly where a new month happened without relying on the moon. This is where the 360 degrees of a circle came from, the ancient calendars that marked off the days of the year in that fashion. Israel used a 720-degree tool, one for each day period, one for each night period, which is seen in Isaiah 38 when the sun goes back 10 degrees. 10 degrees of 720 is the same as 5 degrees on 360, which is the number of new days added to the year. In essence, the man-made construction sort of served as a replacement for the moon as the second witness to get the finer measurement. And for Israel in pre-Hezekiah times, if the sky was cloudy at night, the circle used to mark the constellations would still work. The Earth orbits the sun 29.79 kilometers a second, going around the sun in 365.25 days. But if the Earth were to speed up 30.22 kilometers a second, it would make the trip in 360 days. Exactly. The moon's orbit would adjust to 30 days without speeding up or slowing down. It would need no adjustment. Now, Revelation talks about a 360-day year. It talks about stars falling from the skies and the sun being darkened, the moon being darkened and turns to blood. It sounds like the whole universe is shaken and twisted. The heavens are shaken. It is a huge sign that will be happening. Orbits can shift to a 360-day year at that point. It's not 360 days now, but scientists are already wondering what's wrong because the day lengths are out from what they should be, and they've been tracking and studying it and worrying about it and wondering why that is. The length of the year is out. Now we know why that is, because we know there's day counts in the Bible with regards to eschatology, end time study. And if you're looking at Revelation 12 verse 6, the last half of the 70th week is 1,260 days, meaning 2 halves is 2,520 days, which means 360-day years in a 7-year period. So everything will change back to the way it should be biblically. And God can do that by shaking up the heavens and changing the way everything works, as he did in the time of Hezekiah, as he stopped the sun in the time of Joshua. God is going to make some big moves to get everything exactly on point shortly after we go. And it's going to be exciting to see. It's going to have scientists and experts stressed out and freaking, trying to understand why they're suddenly sitting at 360 days a year. And by the time they figure it out, it'll be way too late. But yes, I thought I'd share this with you. I think it's exciting. I think it's wonderful when Gentile nations' history backs up everything in the Bible, because the Bible is truth. The rest needs to align with said truth, and the proof is always right there for those who want to look. God bless. Keep looking up. Shalom.